So the other day I got this comment asking if I would make a video about how the hell you find clients. And honestly, after 15 years of freelancing, trying every method imaginable, sometimes it can still feel like an uphill battle. Eventually I realized that every way to find clients actually fits within 3 clear buckets. And if you think about it that way, you can develop a plan that fits your style. Let me break it down for you. If we're just meeting, I'm Janelle. I've been a graphic designer for over 15 years, and in that time, I have tried every imaginable method to gain new clients. I've gone to networking events where you stand around awkwardly with your business cards trying to casually drop what you do into conversations. I've applied to hundreds of jobs on freelance platforms that feel like you're just throwing water into the ocean. I've cold emailed people I just liked and wanted to work with while taking really deep breaths. And most of the time it just felt like throwing spaghetti against the wall, not knowing what's gonna stick. So this was my aha kind of recently, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone actually say this. All methods for finding new clients kind of fit into 3 clear buckets. And when you understand those different approaches, you can choose the method that makes the most sense for where you're at right now and put your energy in something that feels like it's actually going to take you somewhere. And I promise, once you see it this way, finding new clients is going to feel a lot less overwhelming. All right, let's start with method number 1, which is relationship first. This is when you leverage existing connections to find new work. And honestly, this has been responsible for about 80% of my client work over the years in one way or another, which has meant I haven't had to be active on social media to still get work. The most obvious version of this is word of mouth referrals. People are just more likely to want to work with someone when they're recommended by someone they already know and trust. It's like having a friend vouch for someone before you meet them. But here's the thing, most people, including past me, go about this wrong. They kind of just sit around waiting for a referral to happen, hoping that someone remembers them from the ether and passes their name forward. Or very awkwardly ask someone for work in a way that makes everybody feel uncomfortable. Instead, try this. Make a list of everybody you know who either could use your services or probably knows someone who might. And then write them a super simple message, explaining what you're doing and asking if they know anybody who might be a good fit for it and would they be willing to make you an introduction. This way they can volunteer themselves if they need what you're offering, or it could spark an idea of someone they could connect you to and they can pass your name on without it being weird. You're not directly asking for work, you're asking to be kept in mind, which is a lot lower of a lift for most people. Most people genuinely want to help you if you make it really easy for them. And this gives a no-cost way to do that. Secondly, don't forget about past clients. Reach out to people you've worked with in the past and ask them to pass your name along. Even better, build a simple referral system into your process. Maybe offer a discount on future services if someone refers you. Make it really easy for people to recommend. The third way to do relationship-first marketing is by networking. But it doesn't have to be the awkward business card kind. All I'm talking about is intentionally putting yourself in spaces where your ideal client naturally hangs out. This could be in person at local business groups or industry meetups or events. Or it could be online. Private communities or Facebook groups or Reddit boards where your ideal person hangs out. This means finding things you're actually interested in and genuinely participating and giving value and chiming in and becoming a part of a community so that you can naturally connect your services when they come up organically. This is the definition of the long game. You're probably not going to immediately find clients. You're building relationships that might eventually turn into work in months or even years. But the more that you genuinely focus on becoming a part of the communities that you want to serve, the more you actually build a network that will develop into connections and opportunities over time. The last version of a relationship-first strategy is something I don't hear a lot of people talk about, and that's to partner with other creatives in adjacent fields. Say you're a social media manager wanting to work with small businesses. Team up with graphic designers and web developers and photographers and copywriters who are already creating assets for those small businesses. You offer something that they don't, but the things naturally go together and they help the same person. You can either work out a referral deal where you're both sending each other clients, or you can actually package your services together and offer one thing for a client. Either way, you're leveraging your client bases, getting exposure to people you wouldn't have met otherwise, and offering services that genuinely help the same person. It's kind of a win-win. Method number 2 is content first. This is when you focus on either showing your work or offering free value to develop that know, like, and trust thing, so that clients want to come to you because they already like what you do. The most obvious example of this is social media. When you consistently share your work and your creative process, people start following along and want to root for you as a creative. And the beautiful thing is, this doesn't feel like advertising to them because they're choosing to follow you. You're just sharing what you're working on, and they're becoming familiar with what you do. The magic happens here when you share your personality alongside of your work. People don't want to just see pretty things. They want to connect with you as a person. And when someone feels like they know you through your content and they like what you do, they've moved from a cold lead into the relationship category before you've even met them. And that's really special. This also includes any platform where people could discover your work through a search. Obviously your own portfolio website, but also places like Behance and Dribbble and even Pinterest. Anywhere where someone could stumble upon your work and think, I like them, I want to hire this person. The other side of content-first marketing is providing free value that people genuinely connect with. That could be a YouTube channel like this one, a podcast, helpful posts on LinkedIn, articles on Medium or Substack, anywhere where you can solve problems for your ideal client or teach them something useful. When someone discovers you because you help them solve a problem, you become an expert and a resource. And when they need the services that you provide, you're going to become kind of top of mind. And that's awesome. The thing about a content-first approach is that it takes a lot of time to build up. But once it's working, it's like having a 24/7 salesperson out there working for you. Your content is out there helping the right people find you even while you're asleep. And that's pretty cool. Finally, number 3, value first. This is when you lead with what you can offer them, usually to people who don't know you first. This is usually the hardest approach because you don't have an existing relationship to work off of, but it's also the most immediate because you don't have to have built up these other channels over time. The obvious example are freelance platforms like Upwork and Fiverr and Contra. You're seeing job postings and submitting proposals based purely on the value that you can provide. Maybe that value is your skill level or your relevant experience, but it could also be that you can do it quickly or at a low price. You're competing against a lot of other people, and whether or not you get the job comes down to what combination of value that client is looking for. This also includes traditional job boards and project listings. Anytime where you're applying for something and presenting yourself based on your qualifications and what you can offer, that's putting value first. And then there's the good old-fashioned cold pitch, which is kind of the definition of value first. Now, I know cold emailing gets a bad rap, but hear me out. Yes, you're at a disadvantage because you don't have a relationship to work off of, and they didn't ask for your help. But the advantage here is that it's less crowded. Probably no one else is reaching out to them at that time, and you can reach them in their own space when they might actually have the time to consider your offer. The key to successful cold pitching is to be really specific about what you offer and what problems you can solve for them. You need to answer as many potential questions as you can as efficiently as possible and make the bar really low to say yes. Maybe you offer a free audit or a trial project or a really clear example of how you can help their specific business. The fantastic YouTuber Deya did a whole video on how to cold pitch effectively and how to offer something to your ideal customer in a way that might actually get a return. It's really specific and helpful, and she goes into way more detail than I can here. I'm going to link it below because it's a really good resource if you want to go down this route. The gist is that this approach works best when you're really clear on who your ideal person is, so that you can offer something really specific to their needs. Generic, I can help with your design needs emails go straight into the trash. But an email that says, I'm a fan of your work, and I noticed that your website is missing X thing. I specialize in helping businesses like yours solve that exact problem. Here's what I could offer. That gets attention. I don't think that cold pitching should be your only marketing approach, but it's worth throwing some feelers out occasionally to people that you really want to work with. The big thing that I want you to understand is that you don't have to do all of these at once. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Pick one approach that makes the most sense for where you are right now and focus on that. And then maybe pick 1 or 2 strategies in the other buckets that you can keep working on over time so you can have some lines out into the ocean. If you're just starting out and you don't have a big network to work off of, that's fine. Start with value-first approaches, like freelancing platforms, while you're building up your content and your relationships. If you've been doing this for a little while and you have some past clients and connections and work to show for it, then focus on relationships, because that's going to be the most efficient use of your time. And if you love showing your work and your process, then content first might be your sweet spot. Just know that it's going to take some time to build up, and you can be doing other things in the meantime. The point is, this is a framework to think about this strategically, so you're not just randomly throwing out things and hoping something works. And if you're not really sure what to focus on next, watch this video. I go over 5 things you can do right now to get better clients, raise your rates, and move yourself forward no matter where you are. I'll see you there.